Hey everybody, Mark Edward Lewis here from CinemaSound.com. All right, it's time to talk turkey about what audio workstation we should be using. Here we go. Now, there's a whole bunch of audio workstations out there. I mean, from everything from Adobe Audition to Digital Performer, Logic Pro, and a whole bazillion of them in the world of PC land, music, digital audio workstations, and of course, the venerable Pro Tools. Today, I'm going to be talking about kind of the big ones that we use in Hollywood and whether or not you should be using one of these. So here they are again: Pro Tools, Audition, Logic Pro, Digital Performer, and strangely enough, Davinci Resolve. Let's roll. So really the question, hey, which digital audio workstation should I use, is sort of like saying how long is a piece of string? Well, it depends. And a lot of it depends on whether or not you're going to be doing music recording with MIDI. So first of all, if you are, this right away takes a few of these out of the running, which they just don't have MIDI implemented as of the printing of this video. The first one, and the saddest one for me, is Adobe Audition. No MIDI, not yet. And it just, for Adobe, who really has software for every aspect of human creative expression, for them not to have embraced MIDI with their primary digital audio workstation just baffles me. And I know they're up to all kinds of things and they're doing everything they can to make Audition great, but if no MIDI, no music. And so you can't use Audition. And of course, Davinci Resolve, MIDI, not yet either. In fact, Davinci Resolve, some of you are like, why is a nonlinear editor in this list? Well, because Fairlight, for those of you who don't know, is arguably the manufacturer of the best sounding hardware and plugins in the world. And that the good folks at Blackmagic appropriated Fairlight not too many years ago and integrated it into Resolve means that the Resolve is a serious digital audio workstation. Not only that, only Pro Tools in this list has dedicated audio accelerator hardware built in, or well, not built in, you obviously have to buy it with Pro Tools and with Resolve. But with Resolve, according to spec, you can run 1,000 tracks with their audio accelerator. And, that's pretty impressive, especially for those of us who are in the world of Hollywood doing mega hundreds of channels of audio, which brings me to my next point. If you are doing hundreds of channels of audio and you need audio acceleration because you're running thousands of plugins, that pretty much wipes everything out except for Davinci Resolve and, of course, Pro Tools. Pro Tools has a massive amount of audio acceleration power available to you for the tune of in HDX cards and all these other kind of interfaces for tens of thousands of dollars. And of course, Fairlight, the Fairlight tab with its $1,000 card, I'm not sure yet if they can stream them together. I don't think you can. You're stuck with the one card. But that's the other one where you can have an awful lot of channels going at the same time thanks to its ability to offload some of the processing power onto another card. Now, Logic and Audition and all these other, they say they can, and theoretically they can get into hundreds and hundreds of channels. But because they're all host-based, you are limited to the processing power of your computer. And if you don't have a starship of a computer, and not just because it has a lot of processing cores, but because it has a very high gigahertz clock rate, you're not going to get probably past even 100 channels. Digital Performer, or DP, as we like to say, it was actually my very first digital audio workstation, back before it was digital. It was just Performer, and we used MIDI for music and all these things. It's really, if not the predominant, one of the top 3 predominant digital audio workstations for Hollywood composers to use music and do in music. It's really, really a great, amazing digital audio workstation, which in my mind has the corner on the market in how to do pitch and time messing with seamlessly. And even back in the 90s, what Digital Performer could do with time and pitch with audio, unprecedented. Then, as I mentioned, Davinci Resolve, it's sort of the Hollywood de facto nonlinear editor in how we finish films because of its incredible ability to do color correction and tracking. Well, now with the advent of the Fairlight page, it's trying to give Pro Tools a run for its money, which I think it should. Nobody's really using the Fairlight page right now because it's not quite ready for prime time. But for simple audio things, it's really good, sounds wonderful, and is starting to build traction. Then you got the Mac folks with Logic Pro. Logic's been around since it was Notator. In fact, that's when I started back in the early 90s using Notator, back when it was on Atari. Really, really great, and my personal favorite music digital audio workstation. In fact, we used to mix 5.1 on it before Pro Tools actually got to system version 11, where you could do offline bouncing, and before it finally got to 32-bit float sessions. It was like, what? You guys have 24-bit sessions? Crazy. Anyway, so a little aside there, sorry. So Logic sounds great, but if you're doing mixing with digital audio workstations, stuff with Logic, the problem is that its current implementation of the surround puck is wildly flawed. I'm not going to go into it here, but you cannot do professional mixing in Logic Pro. Great for music, but not for digital audio works mixing in 5.1. You got to do all kinds of monkey wrenching, Mickey mousing to get it to work the way we wished it worked. I've been yelling at Apple for years. They don't care. And we know Apple doesn't care about you or me. They don't care about anything except money. So consider that if you're looking at Logic as an option. Avid, same thing. They don't care about you or me or anyone else. They just care about money. Last but certainly not least is our friends at Adobe with Adobe Audition and its incredible dynamic linking combination with Media Encoder and Premiere Pro. Now, the good folks at Adobe really care about you and me. And if you send them service requests, they all get read. I'm not kidding. They read them all. And, Audition has come up so very far in recent years. It used to be difficult to use and, because it came out of that cool edit concept, great for radio, but for primetime mixing, not so much. But when we did the Cinema Sound Education, we used it exclusively to do over 100 channel mixes, and it performed quite well on reasonable laptop computers. So now, because it doesn't have MIDI implementation in a way that we want it to, I wish I had it working, it's limited in its ability to do music unless it's just audio, which of course there and it does fine. They're doing a great job of working out bugs and issues and the ability to do multi-threading and really use itself efficiently in a multi-core environment so that you can use hundreds of tracks. Not quite there yet, but they are working feverishly on it, and I expect in the next 18 months it's going to be giving big-time digital audio workstations a massive run for its money. Next, let's talk about plugin packages. What are the native plugins that come with each one of these, and are they any good? Well, the ones that come with Pro Tools, they're usable. They're actually fine. Some of them are good, but we don't want to buy Pro Tools because of its incredible plugin package. That's not what we do. We go buy Waves plugins for them to supersede the ones that are in Pro Tools. The ones that come with Performer, Logic Pro, and Adobe Audition are incredible. They sound great, super useful, very efficient on the CPU, and, I would buy Logic Pro just for the plugins. And Audition has some plugins that are some of the best in the world. The multi-band compressor, unreached. Unreached. It is kind of untapped. Besides the fact that Remix is another one in Adobe Audition. Nobody got anything like that right now. It's unbelievable. Automatic speech alignment. Just so many things. Digital Performer also has some beautiful, incredible sounding EQs and compressions specifically designed for music use, but work great in post-production, not to mention the incredible pitch and time compression thing that it has going on there. Unbelievable, unmatched. And then lastly, of course, the Fairlight page of Resolve. Fairlight makes the best plugins in the world, sorry to say. And unfortunately in Resolve, they're implemented in a really dumb way right now, just so dumb. You can't put more than one instance of their plugins in. EQ or dynamics, you're stuck, and it's really clunky. And I'm yelling at them to get that up to prime time so that not only for clips but also in our channels we can have maximum use of these beautiful plugins that they have for us. And of course the EQs themselves are wildly limited and wow, guys, let's make this right here, shall we? So that at least we can all enjoy the benefits of what Fairlight brings instead of having it limited in as it currently is. And then lastly, what's the price point? Well, with Pro Tools, if you want to get outside of the 256 tracks, you got to have two, not one, but two HDX cards. And if you're lucky, you can find them on eBay for $3,500 each. And you have to have a PCIe compatible computer. Although now they're coming out with Thunderbolt for you Mac folk. And PC folk if you want. Otherwise, you're getting yourself a big chassis of PCIe slots. That's what we have actually. And you're looking at it for, what is it now, $1,000 a year? And the hardware and interface, Pro Tools will not run without that stuff going on. So you're into it for, just call it 10 grand, a nice easy 10 grand. And that's just for a 512 system. Obviously Pro Tools runs natively with 256 tracks, but again, you're wholly host-based. And if you're going to do host-based Pro Tools, why? Get one of the other digital audio workstations that don't cost you that much, and all run almost all of them run with a good enough computer, 256 tracks. Digital Performer, great value. Again, host-based, no audio acceleration. Really great option if you do a lot of music as well. Probably not as well known at all for doing post-production. It's just really not designed for that. Doesn't quite have the routing ease to do that. Like you almost can't do digital. I mean, you can't possibly do 3D audio and Performer really quite yet. Logic Pro, what is it now? $199 for you Mac folks. So it's great. I mean, everybody should have, if you're a Mac person and you're in audio or media at all, you got to have Logic Pro. Besides the fact that if you're using Final Cut Pro, it is the horrible so-called dynamic linking way of getting audio out of Final Cut into some kind of digital audio workstation. They think it's Logic, which they need to fix, as I mentioned. But anyways, great digital audio workstation, especially if you're doing music. It's superior and can do a lot of limited digital audio workstation stuff as well. Davinci Resolve, well, as far as I know, all the Fairlight capabilities are completely unlocked in the free version, so it's free. Dope. Adobe Audition, well, if you're using Photoshop and Premiere, it's free, right? Because you're paying for those. Audition comes free with Creative Cloud. So that's super dope. Otherwise, they have packages that are less than the $60 odd a month fee that are specific to audio video things. I'm not totally sure what it is yet, but I know that they are available. But the big value, of course, is if you do the $60 a month, then you get all the Adobe products in all that package. Hopefully this has been beneficial to you and you've got some idea now which way you want to go. Definitely ask us questions here in the thread and we'll come on and answer them as best as we can. And if we've ruffled a few feathers, hopefully not. This is just nothing personal. We use all of these programs. We use all of them. So full disclosure, we used to be sponsored by Adobe. We're not at the current time. So this is, completely unbiased, as everything that we do is anyway, even if we were sponsored by them. So hopefully this has been valuable to you. If so, please subscribe to us here at the cinemasound.com channel. And of course, come visit us at cinemasound.com, where we've got a list of our favorite software, our favorite hardware, and all kinds of articles, hundreds and hundreds of videos and articles to get you that unfair competitive advantage in the Hollywood and independent media marketplace. Hopefully we'll see you at cinemasound.com. Until then, we'll see you in post.
Even if it's for yourself.